A breakthrough sector in eastern Ukraine, 17 kilometers northeast of Bakhmut. 13:20 hours yesterday afternoon. Temperature +9°C, with clear visibility offering excellent observation conditions. Russian motorized rifle battalion had achieved tactical breakthrough, penetrating 4 kilometers into Ukrainian defensive lines, creating dangerous salient threatening Ukrainian rear areas and supply routes. 683 combat soldiers organized into 3 rifle companies, plus supporting elements including mortars, anti-tank teams, logistics, and command staff. Breakthrough was achieved through concentrated assault with heavy artillery preparation, overwhelming local Ukrainian defense. Battalion advanced rapidly, exploiting initial success, pushing deep beyond initial objectives, attempting to expand penetration before Ukrainian forces could organize coherent response. In haste to exploit breakthrough momentum, battalion stretched across narrow corridor 4 kilometers deep, but only 600 meters wide at most points. Supporting units from parent regiment couldn't maintain pace, leaving breakthrough force increasingly isolated from main Russian positions. Ukrainian command recognized developing opportunity. Breakthrough force was dangerously overextended, stretched thin along single axis of advance, highly vulnerable to coordinated counterattack from exposed flanks. Reserve forces were immediately mobilized. 2 mechanized companies with armor support, totaling 340 soldiers, equipped with 12 BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicles and 8 T-64BV main battle tanks. Counterattack plan called for simultaneous strikes from 3 directions, cutting corridor behind breakthrough force, isolating forward Russian companies, systematically destroying encircled forces while preventing relief attempts. Poll: what's the biggest mistake Russian commanders made? A. Advancing too fast. B. Not securing flanks. C. Poor communication. Comment your answer and we'll reveal tactical analysis at minute 9. 8 hours after Ukrainian counterattack commenced, Russian battalion would be effectively destroyed as fighting force. 473 soldiers killed or captured from original 683. Breakthrough would be eliminated, salient completely closed, Ukrainian defensive line fully restored. The tactical success that appeared so promising would become catastrophic defeat through overextension and subsequent encirclement. This happened yesterday during period of fluid operations where both sides sought tactical advantage. Battlefield remained scattered with destroyed vehicles, abandoned equipment, and evidence of desperate close-quarters fighting. Tactical implications of breakthrough force vulnerability to rapid encirclement continue affecting Russian offensive planning, with increased caution about deep penetration operations. This is what occurred during those 8 hours when breakthrough became death trap, when tactical success transformed into strategic disaster. Military breakthroughs represent inherently high-risk operations, requiring precise balance between speed and security. Success requires rapid exploitation before enemy can effectively respond. Hesitation allows enemy to reinforce threatened sector or organize counterattack against exposed flanks. But excessive speed creates critical vulnerability. Advancing force outpaces supporting units, supply lines become dangerously extended, flanks remain exposed to attack. Balance between exploitation speed and force protection represents critical decision for commanders determining outcome of breakthrough operations. Russian battalion breakthrough was textbook initial success, demonstrating proper assault techniques. Concentrated artillery preparation with 120 rounds per hectare suppressed Ukrainian defensive positions. Lead Rifle Company penetrated first defensive line during artillery fire, following companies pushed through gap, maintaining momentum. Ukrainian defenders conducted fighting withdrawal rather than being surrounded, trading space for time while preserving forces for counterattack. Russian battalion advanced 4 kilometers in 3 hours, occupying series of small villages along single paved road, providing avenue of advance. Battalion organization during advance was dangerously linear, creating vulnerability to counterattack. Lead company positioned at penetration point 4 kilometers forward of original line. Second company positioned 2 kilometers behind, providing limited depth. Third company remained at original breakthrough point, attempting to secure corridor entrance. Supporting elements were distributed along entire 4-kilometer corridor. Mortar section, anti-tank teams, logistics vehicles, command posts scattered across length of advance. This dispersion was fundamental tactical error. Battalion existed as string of isolated groups rather than concentrated force capable of mutual support and coordinated defense. Ukrainian reconnaissance drones observed entire Russian advanced tracking battalion positions continuously. Intelligence officers carefully noted developing overextension. Russian force penetrated deep but remained narrow. Flanks were completely unprotected by terrain or security elements. Supporting units from parent regiment hadn't followed breakthrough force. Professional assessment concluded breakthrough force was highly vulnerable to encirclement if counterattack could successfully cut corridor, isolating forward elements from supporting forces. Debate starter. Some say rapid breakthrough exploitation is necessary despite risks. Others argue securing flanks before advancing prevents disasters like this. Which tactical philosophy do you support? Type speed or security in comments. Ukrainian reserve forces were positioned 8 kilometers from breakthrough area. Mechanized companies held as operational reserve specifically for counterattacking enemy penetrations. Orders were issued at 13:47 for immediate counterattack execution. 2 mechanized companies would attack from different directions simultaneously. Northern Company attacking into corridor midpoint. Southern Company attacking same area from opposite direction. Primary objective was cutting corridor approximately 2 kilometers behind lead Russian company. Isolating forward 2 companies from 3rd Company and main Russian forces while preventing relief operations. Counterattack commenced at 14:23, with Northern Mechanized Company advancing from concealed assembly positions. 8 BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicles carrying 80 soldiers plus 4 T-64BV tanks moved rapidly across open terrain, approaching corridor from unexpected direction. Russian forces positioned in corridor didn't detect approach. Attention remained focused forward toward advancing lead company rather than monitoring vulnerable flanks for threats. At 14:37, Ukrainian force struck corridor midpoint where Russian 2nd Company was positioned in march formation. Surprise was complete and devastating. Russian soldiers' first indication of attack was 30mm autocannon fire from BMPs and 125mm tank gunfire from T-64s engaging from 800 meters range. Russian 2nd Company was caught in vulnerable march column formation on road, not deployed for defense, not prepared for sudden flank attack, completely vulnerable to armored assault with heavy weapons. Ukrainian tanks engaged Russian vehicles with systematic precision. 4 BMP-2s in Russian column were destroyed within first 2 minutes. Burning vehicles blocked narrow road, creating obstacles preventing movement. Infantry fighting alongside tanks engaged Russian soldiers with concentrated rifle and machine gun fire. Russian 2nd Company attempted hasty defense organization, but response was chaotic. Soldiers scattered desperately seeking cover, officers attempting to organize resistance while under heavy fire. Supporting weapons not positioned for effective flank defense. At 14:41, Southern Ukrainian Mechanized Company struck same corridor area from opposite direction, creating devastating crossfire. This perfectly coordinated attack from 2 directions overwhelmed Russian defensive capability. 2nd Russian Company was trapped between 2 attacking forces, vehicles systematically destroyed from both sides, infantry taking heavy casualties from multiple directions simultaneously, command and control breaking down completely under pressure. By 1500 hours, Russian 2nd Company was destroyed as organized fighting unit. 67 soldiers killed in action, 43 wounded requiring evacuation, 37 captured during position overrun, remainder scattered into surrounding countryside. More critically, from strategic perspective, corridor was successfully cut. Lead Russian company positioned 4 kilometers forward was completely isolated from 3rd Company and supporting forces positioned behind Ukrainian blocking position. Road through corridor was blocked by destroyed vehicles and firmly controlled by Ukrainian forces preventing relief attempts. Russian lead company commander received fragmentary radio reports of attack on 2nd Company, but couldn't determine complete tactical situation. Radio communications with battalion headquarters positioned behind corridor were intermittent. Terrain features and distance degraded signal strength. Last clear transmission indicated 2nd Company under heavy attack. Corridor threatened by enemy forces. No immediate reinforcement available due to Ukrainian blocking positions. Lead Company received orders to hold current position and await relief operations. Lead Company was now effectively surrounded, forward advance blocked by Ukrainian defensive positions, withdrawal route cut by forces destroying Second Company, flanks exposed to potential attacks. Company commander assessed situation, recognizing extreme danger. Company consisted of 143 soldiers with 3 BMP-2 vehicles and supporting weapons. Ammunition was approximately 60% of normal load. Rapid advance hadn't allowed resupply. Food was minimal. Soldiers carried 2-day rations. Medical supplies were basic. Company medic with limited equipment. Quiz: in modern warfare, how long can an encircled force typically hold out without resupply? A. 24-48 hours. B. 3 to 5 days. C. 1 to 2 weeks. Answer revealed at minute 17. Commander attempted organizing defensive perimeter in village at forward position. Buildings provided cover and firing positions. Soldiers established positions covering all approaches. Supporting weapons were positioned for maximum effectiveness. Machine guns covering likely enemy avenues. Anti-tank teams positioned to engage armored threats. Communications were established with battalion headquarters, requesting immediate relief and fire support. Ukrainian forces methodically tightened encirclement. Third mechanized element, company-sized force with 6 BMPs and 4 tanks, moved to positions blocking any potential Russian relief attempt. Artillery forward observers established positions with clear observation of encircled pocket, enabling precise fire support. Reconnaissance drones maintained continuous surveillance of Russian positions, tracking defensive preparations. At 16:15, Ukrainian forces commenced systematic assault on encircled Lead Company. Artillery preparation with 122 mm howitzers struck defensive positions. High explosive rounds destroying buildings and suppressing defenders. Following artillery preparation, mechanized infantry assaulted from multiple directions, preventing concentrated defense. Russian soldiers fought desperately, but situation was hopeless. Outnumbered, surrounded, low on ammunition, no prospect of relief or escape. Ukrainian forces employed combined arms effectively. Tanks engaged buildings with main guns. BMPs provided supporting fire with autocannon. Infantry cleared positions methodically. Russian casualties mounted rapidly. Soldiers killed defending positions, others wounded without adequate medical treatment, some attempting surrender. By 1800 hours, organized resistance from Lead Company ceased. 41 Russian soldiers killed during final assault, 37 wounded, 65 captured. Remaining soldiers scattered attempting individual escape through Ukrainian lines. Most were captured within following days. Third Russian Company, positioned at original breakthrough point, attempted relief operation, but Ukrainian blocking force prevented advance. Relief attempt resulted in additional casualties: 23 killed, 17 wounded, 4 vehicles destroyed, without achieving objective of reaching encircled forces. Here's the financial cost breakdown, exactly what this 8-hour disaster cost Russia. Total battalion casualties: 473 from original 683 personnel, 69% casualty rate. 171 killed in action, 139 captured, 163 wounded. Equipment losses: 11 BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicles destroyed, 9 trucks destroyed, substantial small arms and supporting weapons captured or destroyed. Economic analysis reveals catastrophic financial impact of encirclement disaster. Personnel losses alone represented massive training investment destruction. Russian contract soldier received 6 months basic training, costing approximately $35,000, plus specialized training averaging 3 months, costing $20,000 additional. Motorized rifle soldiers receive additional vehicle and combined arms training, costing $15,000. Average total training investment per soldier, $70,000. 171 soldiers killed represented $11.97 million in lost training investment. Death benefits paid to families average $50,000 per killed soldier, totaling $8.55 million immediate obligations. 139 captured soldiers represented $9.73 million training investment, lost plus ongoing costs of captivity. 163 wounded soldiers required medical treatment averaging $30,000 immediate costs. totaling $4.89 million. Long-term disability for estimated 60% of wounded. 98 soldiers, at $200,000 present value, equals $19.6 million additional obligations. Combined personnel-related costs, $54.74 million, including training losses, death benefits, medical treatment, and long-term disability obligations. Equipment losses compounded financial disaster. Each BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicle represents $700,000 investment. Base vehicle $500,000, weapons systems $80,000, communications $40,000, ammunition $30,000, upgrades $50,000. 11 destroyed BMPs, $7.7 million direct vehicle losses. Choose your side. When tactical success requires accepting encirclement risk, should commanders prioritize mission accomplishment or force preservation? Type mission or preservation. BMP crews, 3 personnel each requiring 12 months specialized training at $90,000 per position, represented 33 crew positions, loss totaling $2.97 million training investment. Infantry squads in destroyed BMPs, 8 soldiers per vehicle, represented 88 positions with mechanized infantry training, costing $45,000 per soldier, totaling $3.96 million training loss. Combined BMP-related losses, $14.63 million. 9 destroyed trucks valued at $120,000, each represented $1.08 million direct losses. Truck cargo included ammunition, rations, spare parts, medical supplies, equipment averaging $80,000 value per vehicle, totaling $720,000 cargo losses. Combined truck losses, $1.8 million. Small arms and supporting weapons losses were substantial. Battalion-level weapons destroyed or captured included 9 PKM machine guns at $8,000 each, $72,000. 14 RPG-7 launchers at $2,000 each, $28,000. 6 AGS-17 automatic grenade launchers at $15,000 each, $90,000. Approximately 200 AK-74M rifles at $1,000 each, $200,000. Night vision devices, communications equipment, other specialized gear, estimated $500,000. Total small arms and equipment losses, $890,000. Ammunition expenditure during breakthrough and encirclement fighting was substantial, though most was lost, rather than expended. Battalion carried approximately 120,000 rounds of rifle ammunition, valued at $2 per round, $240,000, 15,000 rounds of machine gun ammunition at $3 per round, $45,000, 800 RPG rounds at $800 each, $640,000, 2,000 artillery rounds supporting breakthrough at $400 each, $800,000. Total ammunition losses, $1.725 million. Logistical costs of failed relief operations, recovery of wounded, prisoner handling, and post-battle cleanup added approximately $1.2 million additional expenses. Total direct financial losses from encirclement, $87.1 million, combining personnel casualties, equipment destruction, ammunition losses, and associated costs. This calculation excludes difficult-to-quantify factors, including strategic opportunity costs from failed breakthrough, degraded morale across other units, learning of disaster, operational delays while battalion was reconstituted, and long-term medical costs exceeding initial estimates. Reconstitution of destroyed battalion required 4 months and substantial additional investment. Replacement personnel were mobilized and trained, but training was abbreviated due to urgent manpower needs, reducing combat effectiveness. New equipment allocation required redistributing assets from other units, degrading their readiness. Reformed battalion lacked cohesion and experience of original unit. Most officers were new to positions, soldiers didn't know each other. Unit traditions and relationships were completely disrupted. Combat effectiveness of reconstituted battalion was estimated at only 60% of original, despite having full authorized manpower. Intangible factors like experience, cohesion, and institutional knowledge couldn't be rapidly replaced. This effectiveness reduction meant reconstitution cost exceeded simple replacement costs, requiring additional training, equipment, and time to restore original capability. Ukrainian investment in successful counterattack operation was remarkably modest by comparison. 3 mechanized companies totaling 340 soldiers represented approximately $23.8 million training investment. Ammunition expenditure was limited, primarily tank ammunition and autocannon rounds, totaling approximately $300,000. No Ukrainian vehicle losses occurred during operation. Personnel casualties were minimal, 4 killed, 11 wounded, representing approximately $500,000 in medical costs and death benefits. Total Ukrainian investment, approximately $24.6 million, achieving $87.1 million in Russian losses. Return on investment, 3.5 to 1 in purely economic terms, before considering strategic advantages from defeating breakthrough, restoring defensive line, capturing prisoners and equipment, and degrading Russian offensive morale. Tactical lessons from encirclement were systematically disseminated throughout Russian forces, attempting to prevent recurrence. Breakthrough exploitation guidelines were revised, emphasizing securing flanks before advancing deep into enemy territory, maintaining concentrated forces rather than dispersing across extended frontage, ensuring communications remained functional throughout operation, planning withdrawal routes before commencing advance, confirming supporting units could maintain pace with breakthrough force. These lessons identified what destroyed battalion failed to execute properly. Whether subsequent operations successfully applied lessons remained questionable. Operational pressures and command decisions often forced commanders into risky situations despite understanding dangers. Ukrainian forces studied successful encirclement, developing comprehensive doctrine for counterattacking breakthrough attempts. Key elements included patience, allowing enemy to overextend before striking, resisting pressure to counterattack immediately, reconnaissance, thoroughly identifying vulnerable points in enemy penetration, coordinated simultaneous attacks from multiple directions, maximizing shock and confusion, rapid sealing of pocket, preventing enemy relief operations, systematic destruction of encircled forces using combined arms. This doctrine was refined through multiple engagements, becoming standard operational approach to defeating Russian breakthrough attempts. Success rate of Ukrainian counter-encirclement operations exceeded 70% when properly resourced and executed, demonstrating doctrine effectiveness. Psychological impact on Russian forces extended far beyond single battalion. Units learning of disaster became significantly more cautious about offensive operations. Recognizing breakthrough could rapidly become encirclement and annihilation. Some commanders refused orders for deep penetration operations without adequate flank protection, risking discipline issues but reflecting lack of confidence in operational planning and support. This widespread operational caution degraded Russian offensive capability across entire front, creating hesitation, reducing operational tempo, and allowing Ukrainian forces to maintain defensive stability. Strategic implications influenced Russian operational planning philosophy fundamentally. Previous doctrine emphasizing rapid breakthrough and deep exploitation was substantially moderated by recognition of encirclement risk. New planning emphasized deliberate consolidation, capturing positions, then methodically securing flanks before further advance. Operational tempo slowed, but force preservation improved, reducing catastrophic losses from overextension. Ukrainian defenses adapted to slower Russian advances, developing more resilient defensive depth. Multiple defensive lines with mobile reserves positioned for counterattack created defense in depth, absorbing initial assaults, then striking exposed penetrations. This tactical interaction drove continuous evolution of both sides' approaches to offensive and defensive operations. This is what happens when tactical success becomes strategic disaster. When 4 kilometers of advance becomes 473 casualties. When $87 million burns in 8 hours. The breakthrough succeeded. The battalion died, the line restored. No glory, no victory, just mathematics and bodies. What tactical changes would you make to prevent this? Comment your analysis below.